start out with, you can see that I had already sketched out my subject on my canvas, and I'd actually already put a little bit of the paint on there before I started filming. And you may be wondering why I'm starting out putting blue on her face and neck. The reason for that is that I wanted her skin to have a blue undertone in the shadow area, and in order to get the look I was thinking of, especially using oil paints, what I'm doing is I'm putting down blue in all of the shadow areas on the painting, and then later on, as I go over those areas with more of a skin tone, the blue will show through, but it will not be like overwhelming blue. It will be mixed with the layers above it so that there's just kind of a bluish tint to certain parts of her skin. And so that's why I kind of start out with this weird blue color initially. You will see later on in the video that this does actually make sense, even though it looks really odd to begin with. But that's how painting often goes, and especially when you're using oil paints. In order to get the look that an artist is thinking of, especially when you're doing portraits of people, you do need to think about, how do I want this to turn out? What colors am I going to use? How am I going to get the effects that I'm going for? And sometimes to start out with, the look may not make sense, but that's because oftentimes you need to build up the layers to get the look you're trying to achieve. And that's what I'm doing on this painting, is I am just building up layers of different color, and in the end it will come together to create her specific skin tone. And together with her face, her hair, and the background later on, you'll see why I kind of wanted this look on her face. So now that I've kind of explained why that shocking color is what I started out with, I will go ahead and time-lapse me doing some more painting to some music, and you can just watch or follow along with your own painting if you choose to. This painting came about for me in a rather odd way. I happened to be picking up some quick grocery items at Walmart one late afternoon several weeks ago, and down one of the aisles I ran into my old boss. She was the owner of the preschool that I had worked at that my daughter had also attended. So while my daughter was little, she went to preschool and I was a teacher there. I never actually had her in my class because that would have been an absolute disaster. But it was pretty cool to be working at a place where my, daughter was every day when she was little, because I enjoyed the fact that I got to be where she was at every day. So that was pretty cool. I left that job in 2011 and started working at Habitat for Humanity. So it was quite a while ago that I had worked there. It was about 2006 to about 2011 was how long I worked at the preschool. So when I saw her, she said that she had a project that she was wanting to do, and she had already done some of it, but in her house she had a wall that she wanted to have paintings or artwork of people that she knew, and was asking each person that she knew that did art if they could provide something for her art wall. And I said, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. It was something that she basically gave me like the dimensions that she was looking for, and I told her I would do it on canvas because that way it could just be hung up. I would paint the sides, so that way there was nothing she had to do in order to get it ready to hang. And then she did say basically I could paint whatever I wanted, other than she wanted it to kind of tie a little bit to our time together, which for me was being a teacher at the preschool. So I decided to paint a child, and I was sorting through like reference images that I wanted to use, and my thought was I wanted to have a child that represented like the kids that I taught. And for me, the biggest thing about kids at that age is how imaginative they are, and how all the time the stuff that came out of their mouths was just so, mostly it was so funny because they just have this perspective on the world at ages like 3 to 5 that kind of they lose a little bit as they get older. So I was thinking, imagination, and I had this, painting of a little girl in my mind, and I wanted to make it realistic but also a little bit showing that imaginative side, which later on in this video you'll see that I did a very detailed mixed media background. I kind of tied all the colors together just to give it that almost fairy tale feel, and I will show you how I did that in the latter part of this video because I didn't add the background until a little bit later on. So that's the reason why I painted this painting, and I am very, very happy with how it turned out. And I did send her a photo of the finished painting, and she was incredibly pleased with it as well. So I just wanted to give that little bit of perspective on why I'm painting this painting. I feel like sometimes people wonder, okay, why did you paint this? Well, this one was for a purpose, for a person that asked me to do a commissioned painting for them, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I think that the outcome was what I was looking for in order to paint the painting, and according to what she told me when she saw it, was what she was looking for when she was asking for a painting to be done. Oh, the other thing she had said when we were talking about what she wanted me to do for her was that she wanted it to really represent my style. And honestly, here lately, like the past, I don't know, almost year or so, I really haven't been doing my full style in paintings, which what that used to be was I would do a portrait, it would have a mixed media background. I had a really specific technique that I used to do the background and to incorporate it with the portrait. And I hadn't really done one of these in a while. And as I was working on this painting, I was like, why haven't I done this? What was my reason for, kind of not doing this? And one reason was because I was like trying new things, which is never a bad thing. But once I started working on this and I realized that I hadn't done this technique in a while, it made me want to do more using my style. So to me, when she said that, I thought, oh, I need to do a painting in the style that most, in my mind represents me as an artist. And this is the style that I feel fits that. So that's the reason why I kind of went back to doing like my original style that I feel like most represents me. All right, on with the video. Now is when I got the items ready for doing the mixed media background. Here in my art studio, I have this tall cabinet and it has many drawers, and a lot of the drawers are filled with different items that I use for my mixed media backgrounds: beads, jewels, random found objects, just a huge treasure trove of all kinds of different items. So I'm just going through drawer by drawer, and I have my theme, I guess I would say, in mind for what I want to use on the background. I know that the color scheme that I'm going with favors heavily on teal, and so I'm kind of going with that color theme for some of the items in the background, plus that little fantasy fairy tale type thing that I was talking about. I was looking for items like that as well. So here I just go through drawer by drawer and just pick out the items that really kind of speak to me as I'm looking through what I have here, picking them out and just putting them all together in this little glass dish, so that way I have them all together when I start the process of attaching them to my canvas. Next, I went into my stencil drawer and I just pulled out several stencils that I might end up using on the background as well. And I wanted to have the ones that were kind of appropriate for this background ready in case I decided to use them. So I grabbed those out. And then here is my stack of paper. I use scrapbook paper oftentimes and old book paper to put on my background. So I'm just kind of going through this little stack that I had pulled out and picking some pieces. There's my heavy gloss gel and my Mod Podge. I applied the paper items with Mod Podge. And then later on, I'm going to attach all of those trinkets that you saw using the heavy gloss gel. Next on my background, I'm going to drip some ink. So I'm just going into my ink drawer and pulling out some colors that I think might work well with what I'm planning on doing for the other colors in the painting, like teal and white, and like a deeper blue, and then I think I usually like to do a metallic, and I'm pretty sure I picked gold. Yes, that's gold right there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one, but like a contrasting color. I don't think I ended up using it, but just in case I have it pulled out. If you hear snoring in the background, that's my Frenchie. He's very tired after sleeping in the bed all night. That really wore him out, so it's like almost 11 a.m. and he can't handle the rest of today. So I picked out that lighter teal that you just saw. And some olive green. So basically what I do is I'm just going to drop some ink onto the canvas. I have a little spray bottle with water in it, so I kind of spray the areas that I put the ink on to get it to kind of spread out a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of the ink with my painting propped up like this, but then for the rest of the ink, the background, putting on all of those pieces that I pulled out of my drawers, I'm actually going to lay the painting flat. Otherwise everything's just going to run down, and I don't want it to run down onto the portrait part of it, except for a few little pieces, but I don't want it messing up what I did there. So I'm going to lay the painting down flat to do the rest of the background. bye.